Welcome to the Hidden Coins Vault. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Most people glance at a quarter for less than a second before spending it, dropping it into a jar, or forgetting it between couch cushions. But what if one ordinary-looking quarter from 1972 carried a mystery so fascinating that collectors have spent decades searching for the finest examples? Today we are diving into the legendary 1972 Washington quarter, a coin surrounded by stories, speculation, and extraordinary collector interest. Some enthusiasts have even claimed that under the most extraordinary circumstances, a perfect specimen with remarkable characteristics could command a staggering value that sounds almost impossible to believe. And before we reach the end of this story, stay with me, because two more quarters are waiting in the shadows of the Hidden Coins Vault, and their stories become even more unbelievable as we continue this journey. The tale of the 1972 quarter begins at the Denver Mint during a period when America was changing rapidly. The early 1970s were filled with historic events, economic shifts, and technological progress. Millions upon millions of quarters rolled off the presses, destined for cash registers, vending machines, banks, and pockets across the nation. To the average American, these quarters were simply money. Nothing more. Yet collectors know that history has a strange habit of hiding treasures among ordinary objects. That possibility is what makes coin collecting so exciting. Somewhere among those countless 1972 quarters, there could be examples possessing characteristics that separate them from the rest. Imagine a mint employee beginning another routine day. Massive machines thunder through the facility, striking coin after coin with incredible speed. Everything appears normal. Yet somewhere in that process, tiny variations can occur. A die may wear differently. A strike may come out unusually sharp. Minute details invisible to casual observers can transform an ordinary coin into a sought-after rarity. That possibility has driven generations of collectors to inspect every quarter they encounter. One story often told among enthusiasts describes a collector who purchased a small box of mixed coins at an estate sale. The box looked unremarkable. Dust covered the lid. Most buyers ignored it. Yet inside sat several older quarters, including a bright and unusually detailed 1972 example. The collector nearly overlooked it. Only after careful examination under magnification did its exceptional quality become apparent. Whether every detail of that story is true or embellished over time hardly matters. What matters is that stories like these fuel the dream that valuable discoveries are still possible. The fascination surrounding the 1972 quarter comes partly from condition rarity. While millions were produced, very few survived in truly exceptional condition. Coins enter circulation and immediately begin accumulating scratches, nicks, and wear. Every transaction leaves a mark. Every trip through a cash drawer takes a toll. As decades pass, pristine examples become increasingly difficult to find. Collectors compete fiercely for coins that appear almost untouched by time. Some hobbyists believe the most desirable 1972 quarters are those exhibiting razor-sharp strikes, brilliant luster, and virtually flawless surfaces. Others focus on unusual minting anomalies. Stories circulate about doubled details, die cracks, striking irregularities, and subtle characteristics that make one coin stand apart from thousands of others. Whether discovered in circulation, inherited from relatives, or purchased from dealers, each unusual example adds another chapter to the coin's ongoing legend. Auction rooms have long been places where coin dreams become reality. Picture a crowded room filled with determined bidders. A rare coin appears under bright lights. The auctioneer begins calling numbers. Hands rise. Prices climb. Tension fills the air. Collectors who have searched for years finally see an opportunity to secure a remarkable piece. Moments like these explain why numismatics captivates people worldwide. A coin is not merely metal. It is history, rarity, competition, and storytelling combined into a single object small enough to fit in your hand. The 1972 D quarter represents that excitement perfectly. Every collector imagines finding one hidden in an old collection. Every coin roll hunter hopes to uncover an extraordinary example while searching through bankrolls. Every estate sale visitor wonders whether a forgotten treasure might be waiting in an overlooked box. And while many searches end without a spectacular discovery, the possibility itself keeps the adventure alive. Think about the quarters sitting in jars, drawers, and piggy banks across America right now. Most owners have never examined them closely. Most assume they are worth exactly 25 cents. Yet history repeatedly shows that overlooked collectibles can surprise everyone. That possibility creates a powerful sense of curiosity. It makes people pause before spending old coins. It encourages families to revisit inherited collections. It inspires beginners to enter the hobby for the very first time. As the years passed, the legend of the 1972 D quarter continued growing. Collectors shared stories at coin shows. Dealers discussed remarkable finds. Online forums filled with photographs and debates. Every newly discovered high-grade example generated excitement. Every unusual variety sparked fresh conversations. The coin became more than a piece of pocket change. It became a symbol of hidden opportunity. Imagine finding one today. You open an old container in the attic. Inside are coins accumulated over decades. Most appear ordinary. Then one quarter catches your attention. The date reads 1972. Beneath it sits the small D mint mark. Your heart beats a little faster. Could this be special? Could it possess characteristics collectors desire? That moment of uncertainty is what makes coin collecting different from almost every other hobby. Treasure hunting is built into the experience. The emotional appeal goes beyond money. Coins connect us to the people who used them decades ago. The 1972 D quarter may have traveled through countless hands. It may have bought groceries, gasoline, movie tickets, or school lunches. It witnessed history while quietly performing its everyday purpose. Now, decades later, collectors view it through an entirely different lens. Instead of purchasing power, they see rarity, preservation, and historical significance. The stories surrounding extraordinary values only add fuel to the fascination. Whether those numbers represent reality, speculation, or collector folklore, they capture attention instantly. They remind people that surprising discoveries can emerge from unexpected places. They encourage closer inspection. They inspire curiosity. And curiosity is the force that drives every great treasure hunt. But do not stop watching now, because the mysteries hidden inside American quarters are only beginning to unfold. Somewhere ahead lies another coin that has generated astonishing conversations among collectors, and its story contains twists that even experienced hobbyists never saw coming. Before we reach that chapter, take one final look at the 1972 D quarter and remember this lesson: ordinary appearances can hide extraordinary possibilities. The next time you receive change, glance at the dates. Look a little closer. Examine what others ignore. Because most people would spend a potentially important coin without a second thought. And if you thought the story of the 1972 D quarter was remarkable, the next quarter waiting inside the hidden coins vault is even more unbelievable, carrying a mystery that continues to captivate collectors and leave newcomers completely stunned. Next, 1989 P quarter dollar. What if a coin that passed through thousands of hands could secretly be one of the most talked about modern quarters among collectors? Most people never give a second glance to a 1989 P Washington quarter. They spend it, drop it into a tip jar, or leave it forgotten in a drawer for years. Yet hidden beneath its ordinary appearance is a story that has fascinated collectors for decades. Some enthusiasts have even attached astonishing estimates to the finest and most unusual examples, with stories spreading through the collecting community that sound more like legends than reality. And trust me, you will want to stay until the very end of this journey because the final coin waiting ahead has a reputation that makes even experienced collectors stop and look twice. The story of the 1989 P quarter begins at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the most historic coin-producing facilities in the United States. By 1989, America was entering a new era. Technology was advancing rapidly, the world was changing, and millions of quarters were being struck for everyday commerce. The goal was simple: produce coins that could circulate efficiently across the nation. Yet history has repeatedly shown that even during massive production runs, unusual coins can emerge. Tiny differences in striking pressure, die preparation, and preservation can create coins that attract attention decades later. Imagine standing inside the mint during 1989. Machines operate continuously, producing thousands of coins every hour. To the workers, it is another normal day. To collectors looking back decades later, however, every production detail becomes important. Which dies were used? How sharply were the details struck? Were there unusual die markers? Did any interesting minting anomalies occur? These questions fuel endless discussions among numismatists who search for hidden distinctions that separate an ordinary quarter from a potentially remarkable one. One reason the 1989 P quarter continues to attract attention is the challenge of finding truly exceptional examples. While large numbers entered circulation, many suffered the same fate as countless other coins. They were spent repeatedly, scratched, worn, dropped, and stored carelessly. As years passed, pristine specimens became increasingly difficult to locate. Collectors soon realized that finding a high-grade example with strong luster and minimal imperfections could be far more difficult than many people assumed. That realization transformed an overlooked coin into a fascinating pursuit. Stories of remarkable discoveries help keep the legend alive. One frequently repeated tale involves a collector sorting through rolls of quarters obtained from a local bank. Hour after hour produced nothing unusual. Most people would have quit. Then, near the end of the search, a bright 1989 P quarter appeared. At first glance it seemed ordinary. Under magnification, however, its surfaces appeared unusually clean, its details exceptionally sharp, and its overall appearance far superior to typical circulated examples. Whether every aspect of that story occurred exactly as told hardly matters. What matters is that such stories inspire countless collectors to continue searching. The possibility of discovery remains irresistible. Coin collecting is often described as treasure hunting hidden in plain sight. Unlike buried treasure, these potential finds can appear anywhere. A forgotten coin jar. A cash register. An inherited collection. A small box purchased at a flea market. The 1989 P quarter embodies that excitement because it reminds collectors that age alone does not determine significance. Sometimes a relatively modern coin can generate tremendous interest if the right combination of rarity, preservation, and collector demand exists. Auction history adds another layer of fascination. Imagine a major auction hall filled with determined bidders. A particularly desirable coin is presented. Collectors examine photographs, review grading reports, and decide how much they are willing to pay. The auctioneer begins calling bids. Numbers climb higher and higher. Excitement spreads through the room. In moments like these, coins become more than currency. They become historical artifacts, competitive trophies, and symbols of successful treasure hunting. Every collector dreams of owning something special, and that dream often drives remarkable bidding battles. The 1989 P quarter also benefits from the mystery that surrounds minting variations. Some collectors search for unusual strike characteristics. Others hunt for die cracks, doubling effects, off-center strikes, or other anomalies that make a coin distinctive. The smallest detail can generate enormous discussion. A subtle difference invisible to most people may become the focus of intense collector interest. That is one of the reasons coin collecting remains endlessly fascinating. Every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is still being discovered. Consider how many 1989 P quarters may still exist unnoticed today. Millions of people have jars filled with spare change. Drawers contain forgotten coins gathered over years of everyday transactions. Boxes in attics remain unopened. Estate collections sit untouched until someone finally decides to inspect them. Somewhere among those coins could be examples that collectors would eagerly study. The possibility is small, but it is real enough to keep the search alive. This sense of possibility creates powerful emotional appeal. People enjoy imagining that something extraordinary might be hiding among ordinary objects. It transforms a routine activity into an adventure. Suddenly, checking dates on coins feels exciting. Examining pocket change becomes a treasure hunt. Looking through inherited collections turns into an exploration of history. The 1989 P quarter has become part of that larger story, a reminder that value and significance are not always obvious at first glance. Over the years, collectors have shared countless accounts of surprising discoveries. One person finds a remarkable coin while sorting change after work. Another inherits a collection from a grandparent and uncovers pieces that had been stored for decades. Yet another purchases a small lot of coins expecting nothing unusual and discovers an item worthy of closer examination. These stories circulate through coin clubs, conventions, online forums, and collector gatherings, reinforcing the belief that hidden treasures still exist. Beyond potential rarity, the 1989 P quarter represents a specific moment in American history. Every coin serves as a miniature time capsule. It carries the design, manufacturing techniques, and economic realities of its era. When collectors hold a 1989 P quarter, they are holding a piece of that period. The coin may have traveled across multiple states, changed hands thousands of times, and witnessed decades of everyday life before arriving in a collection. That historical connection adds meaning far beyond monetary value. As collector interest grew, the reputation of the 1989 P quarter expanded. Discussions became more detailed. Searches became more focused. High-quality examples attracted greater attention. The coin earned a place in conversations among those who appreciate modern numismatic mysteries. Some view it as an underappreciated collectible. Others see it as a symbol of the surprises hidden within everyday coinage. Regardless of perspective, one fact remains clear: people continue looking for exceptional examples. The excitement comes not only from what has already been found but from what may still be waiting to be discovered. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of the story is that many people overlook these coins entirely. They see only 25 cents. Collectors see something different. They see history, possibility, and opportunity. That difference in perspective is what separates casual observers from dedicated treasure hunters. It is also why remarkable discoveries continue to happen year after year. Somewhere, right now, a potentially important coin could be sitting unnoticed in a drawer, a jar, or a collection waiting for someone curious enough to examine it carefully. And while the 1989 P quarter has certainly earned its place among fascinating modern collectibles, the journey is not over. In fact, the most dramatic chapter still lies ahead. The final coin waiting inside the hidden coins vault has generated even greater curiosity, even bigger legends, and even more astonishing stories among collectors. If you think the mysteries surrounding the 1989 P quarter are impressive, prepare yourself for what comes next, because the final coin in this series is the one many enthusiasts consider the ultimate surprise, and its story is about to bring this entire treasure hunt to an unforgettable conclusion. Next, 1997 P quarter dollar. This is the coin that proves even pocket change can rewrite your life. Imagine reaching into an old jar filled with forgotten coins, expecting nothing more than a handful of ordinary change, only to discover a quarter that has become the center of countless collector conversations. At first glance, the 1997 P Washington quarter looks no different from millions of others that pass through stores, banks, and cash registers across America. Yet among collectors, stories surrounding extraordinary examples of this coin have grown into one of the most fascinating modern numismatic legends. Some enthusiasts have attached astonishing estimates and dream-like valuations to the most exceptional specimens, turning a common-looking quarter into a symbol of hidden opportunity. And unlike the coins that came before it, this final chapter brings our journey to its grand finale, where history, rarity, mystery, and imagination come together in a story that reminds us why people continue searching through pocket change even today. The story begins in 1997 at the Philadelphia Mint. America was approaching the end of a century that had witnessed wars, technological revolutions, economic transformations, and cultural shifts unlike anything seen before. Millions of quarters were produced to meet the demands of daily commerce. To Mint officials, the 1997 P quarter was simply another coin entering circulation. To future collectors, however, it would become something far more intriguing. As years passed, attention gradually shifted toward the finest surviving examples. Most coins experienced heavy circulation. They traveled from person to person, accumulating scratches, dents, and wear. But a tiny number escaped that fate. Some remained hidden in collections. Others were preserved in rolls or sets. A few somehow survived in remarkable condition, appearing decades later with details and luster that seemed almost untouched by time. Those coins became the foundation of the quarter's growing reputation. Imagine a collector sitting at a desk late one evening surrounded by coin albums, magnifiers, and reference books. Hours of searching have produced little excitement. Then a single coin catches the light differently. The date reads 1997. The mint mark below reveals its Philadelphia origin. The collector lifts the coin, rotates it carefully, and notices unusually sharp details. Suddenly the search becomes exciting again. That moment captures the essence of coin collecting. It is not merely about money. It is about discovery. It is about finding something overlooked by everyone else. It is about the possibility that an ordinary object may conceal an extraordinary story. One reason the 1997 P quarter generates such fascination is the challenge of locating truly elite examples. While millions were struck, condition rarity tells a different story. Every year that passes reduces the number of pristine survivors. Coins encounter countless opportunities for damage. They are dropped onto hard surfaces, mixed with other coins, stored improperly, and circulated extensively. As a result, finding a specimen with exceptional preservation becomes increasingly difficult. Collectors understand this reality and often compete aggressively when unusually high-quality examples appear. Stories surrounding remarkable finds only deepen the coin's mystique. One tale tells of an inherited collection discovered in a basement after decades of neglect. Dust covered the boxes. Family members assumed the contents held little significance. Yet among the coins rested a group of carefully preserved quarters, including a striking 1997 P example that appeared far superior to most others from its era. Whether every detail of the story unfolded exactly as described is impossible to know, but stories like this continue inspiring collectors around the world. They reinforce the belief that important discoveries may still be waiting in forgotten collections. Auction excitement further fuels the legend. Picture a prestigious sale where collectors gather from across the country. Catalogs are studied for weeks beforehand. Bidders identify targets and establish budgets. Then the moment arrives. A highly desirable 1997 P quarter appears under the spotlight. Bidding begins. Numbers rise steadily. Determined collectors refuse to step aside. Tension builds as the price climbs. The coin becomes more than metal. It becomes a prize representing rarity, patience, and the thrill of the hunt. These moments help explain why numismatics remains one of the world's most captivating hobbies. Even tiny differences can transform an ordinary coin into a collector favorite. Some enthusiasts focus on strike quality. Others search for unusual die markers, doubled features, die cracks, or subtle production anomalies. The smallest variation can spark intense discussion. Entire conversations emerge around details invisible to casual observers. This endless search for distinguishing characteristics keeps the hobby vibrant. Every coin offers questions waiting to be answered. Every discovery creates new possibilities. The 1997 P quarter perfectly embodies that sense of mystery. Perhaps the most remarkable aspect of the story is how easily such coins can remain unnoticed. Most people never inspect their quarters closely. They see only spending power. Collectors see potential. They understand that rarity is often hidden beneath ordinary appearances. A coin sitting unnoticed in a drawer today may become tomorrow's fascinating discovery. That possibility keeps people searching. It encourages examination of old collections. It motivates beginners to learn more about mint marks, grading, and preservation. It transforms routine objects into gateways to history. Consider how many 1997 P quarters still exist in forgotten locations. Some rest in jars on kitchen shelves. Others remain buried inside inherited collections. Many sit unnoticed in boxes that have not been opened for years. Somewhere among them could be examples that would attract significant collector interest. The odds may be small, but they are large enough to keep the dream alive. And in treasure hunting, the dream is often as important as the discovery itself. The emotional appeal extends beyond financial possibilities. Coins connect generations. A quarter carried by one person in 1997 may later pass to a child, a grandchild, or a collector decades later. Each coin travels through history, accumulating stories impossible to fully reconstruct. That connection gives numismatics a unique charm. Collectors are not merely acquiring objects. They are preserving pieces of the past. The 1997 P quarter serves as a reminder that history often hides in the most unexpected places. As the years passed, collector interest continued to grow. Coin shows featured discussions about quality examples. Online communities shared photographs and observations. Dealers watched demand carefully. Every notable discovery added another layer to the coin's reputation. Over time, the quarter became a symbol of the broader idea that extraordinary finds can emerge from ordinary beginnings. This belief lies at the heart of every successful treasure hunt. The most valuable lesson from the story of the 1997 P quarter is not about numbers. It is about attention. Most people overlook opportunities because they never pause long enough to notice them. Collectors train themselves to look closer. They examine details. They ask questions. They remain curious. That mindset transforms everyday experiences into adventures. Whether searching through pocket change or exploring an inherited collection, curiosity creates possibilities that others miss entirely. And now we arrive at the end of our journey through the Hidden Coins Vault. We began with the mysterious 1972 D quarter, continued through the fascinating story of the 1989 P quarter, and finished with the legendary 1997 P quarter. Each coin reminded us that ordinary appearances can conceal extraordinary stories. Each demonstrated why collectors remain passionate after decades of searching. Most importantly, each proved that treasures are not always hidden in distant lands or buried beneath ancient ruins. Sometimes they are hiding in a drawer, a coin jar, an old collection, or even the change you received today. The next time a quarter passes through your hands, take a moment to look at it. Check the date. Notice the details. Consider the journey it may have taken. Because somewhere out there, someone is making a discovery that others overlooked. And perhaps one day, that someone will be you. Until then, keep searching, stay curious, and remember that history often hides its greatest surprises in the smallest places.